Thank you so much for coming on, Suzanne. I cannot tell you how excited I am to talk to you today. When I listen to you, I just constantly go, oh my gosh, I do that. There are so many things that you talk about that I've been doing all of my life. But let you introduce yourself. So Suzanne is a weight loss coach. She's a mindset coach for people who want to lose weight. But I'll let you tell your story because it is absolutely fascinating.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having me. So my name's Suzanne Culberg. I'm a weight mindset coach. And most people, when they hear weight loss, freak out. They think I'm going to talk about diet. They think I'm going to talk about exercise. When I say mindset, it's all about why we do the things that we do. Because when it comes down to it, we all know what to do. We just don't do it. So I don't talk about what to eat. Nick can cover all that for you, or how to exercise, although I am a qualified personal trainer. I've had my own weight journey, which has not been insignificant. When I was 4, my parents put me on my first diet to fit into the flower girl dress for my sister's wedding. And I'm sure they had the best intentions, but it set me up for nearly 30 years of roller coaster dieting. And I'm really good at losing weight. I was just never any good at keeping it off. And I'd follow the diet to the letter, but invariably something would happen, and that would be the beginning of the end. So I could fall off the wagon spectacularly and power munch my way through not 1, but probably 2 packets of Tim Tams. And so I lost lots of weight. So in my life, I've probably lost and gained in excess of 500 kilograms. Sometimes being big numbers. In 2006-07, I lost 43 kilograms. I thought I'd found the answer was personal training. Hence, I left medical school and trained to be a personal trainer. And I did that for a while, and then I moved interstate, and every excuse under the sun came back in, and I regained it all. And then in 2011 and 12, I lost 60 kilograms. Then I fell pregnant. So, you know, at the time I blamed my daughter. But in every circumstance, the common denominator was me. And then in 2015, I had my son. It was a very difficult pregnancy, and I was like, I can't do this again. I can't do this to my body. I can't do this to my mind. There must be something I'm missing, because I'm a smart person and I'm successful in all other areas of my life. Why can't I get this weight stuff sorted? So I then started a mindset journey, and over the following 3 years, I say released and not lost, because every time you lose something, you want to find it again. You know consciously that you don't want to find weight, but your subconscious can't differentiate. So, you know, if you say loss, you feel maybe a little bit anxious or your heart rate rising or something. So that little switch language is really powerful, from loss to release. I went on a weight release journey. I released 78 kilograms. I've kept it off for over 2 years now. I've had a tummy tuck. I've moved. I've had lots of stuff go on. And now I help people, you know, uncover what it is that's going on, but not in terms, I don't do counseling. It's not unpacking what's happened in the past. It's accepting that in the past, food served us for whatever reason, and now we no longer need that, or we no longer want that, and we want to find other avenues and other ways to deal with life's responsibilities without eating. And I won't say it's perfect. Sometimes I still go power munch Tim Tams, but usually half a packet, not 2. And I know that's a sign that there's something else going on that I need to address, and it doesn't freak me out that, oh, I'm going to get fat again, you know? So yeah.
That is just, I'm just sitting here like going through all the emotions with you, you know, as you lose 60 kilos and then regain it. And I know so many women who've had that journey, you know, over and over again. And it's demoralizing, it's depressing, it's, you know, how can you give women hope that they can actually do this and this time keep it off?
I think the big thing that, I don't know if that was me on you, sorry, that I help people with is, and it's a quote I got from Sophia Bush, so I have to acknowledge it, but I love it. And when I heard it, it just gave me goosebumps. You're allowed to be both a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. So when you can begin to accept yourself as you are, then you give yourself room to truly transform. Because so many of us, we put it on the back burner. When I've lost 5 kilos, when I've lost 10 kilos, when my kids are at school, when I have the house, we're always putting off our happiness or our achievement or our congratulations until, But then what happens is we just push it back further. I'm not happy yet. Must need to lose another 5 kilos. I'm not happy yet. Must need to get toned. And we're always putting off whatever it is that we truly want until tomorrow, until next week, until next year. But all we ever have is now. And a lot of people say to me, but if I allowed myself to be happy, Suzanne, I'd take my foot off the accelerator. I'd lose my drive. I wouldn't try. But the thing is, you've been trying for how years, decades, how, like, with love. How is that working out for you? You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, why not now? And I was just talking in my group membership about this last week. When I finally dropped the 78 kilos, I remember I had nothing that fit, absolutely nothing. I was 150 kilograms. It's really challenging to find clothes. And I never wanted to buy anything because I was going to lose weight, you know, or I buy it in the next size down and hang it on my door to motivate me. No, it just made me feel more crap about myself, you know? So I actually went to Kmart, not Kmart, Myers. It was quite expensive. I spent a pretty penny. And I bought an entire new wardrobe, and I probably spent over $2,000, but I had nothing, you know? And I bought this and clothes that I liked, not just bought them because they were the only thing that fit, not just bought them because they're on special, like not things with freaking flowers. No offense to people who like wearing flowers, but I don't know. I was big. I wasn't tasteless. And a lot of it was, ugh. And I bought this entire wardrobe and I felt good about myself. And when you feel good, you do good. So I started to do things. And in hindsight, I was like, oh, what a waste of money that was. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like, it's like the biggest thing I give to people, never buy anything that doesn't fit you now. For two reasons. One, I don't care how motivating people say it is. Two, it reminds you that you're not good enough yet. It makes you feel crap about yourself on some level. And two, when you drop the weight, you can't predict where you're going to drop it from. So I'm not particularly well endowed in the chest. I don't get that. Everyone else in my family is. So I would lose weight from my chest, and then my middle's kind of big, and then it would just sag and it wouldn't sit right. And then I'd be like, man, I've been busting my gut to wear this outfit and I can't because it doesn't sit right and I've got no sewing skills. Sorry, Mum, you tried to teach me. I think I'm unteachable. You know? So don't ever buy anything in hopes of. Only buy, and if you don't have the money to go and spend a $3,000 wardrobe, like, totally get it. Buy one thing, one outfit that you love, not that you got to squeeze into, not that you got to wear Spanx. No, do you know? Something that you love, that lights you up, that you can wear.
Oh my gosh, I could not love that anymore. Never. I've got to the stage where I don't buy anything unless it fits me right now and I feel like $1 million in it. And that is just such great advice. You know what I mean? I love that. You think about when you go to the hairdresser. I'm always talking about how I love hairdresser hair. I go and get my hair done at the hairdressers. I feel like I've lost 5 kilos. Do you know?
Yes.
I just feel amazing. So I love that is part of your strategy, that, you know, that first thing is to feel really good about yourself right now. I love it. Love it. We were, Suzanne and I were talking before we hit record, and I was telling her that I have had an interesting journey with weight, in that I grew up with my mum, who struggled with her weight, struggled all of her life. And I said to her, and so I had a fear of being overweight, but I learnt by osmosis to stuff down my emotions. And you had a fantastic clarification of that word, osmosis. So it's not osmosis.
One of my missions in life, I have a science background, as I said, I went to medical school, is to get this word right. So a lot of people say that they learn by osmosis, as in they passively take it on, you know, or they passively absorb it. Osmosis is actually an active process, and it's from a lower concentration to a higher concentration. So when you're learning something passively, that's actually diffusion. That's passive, and that's where something, you know, you just absorb something. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm learning so much, you're learning it through diffusion. But if you're taking notes, I suppose that's osmosis. So,
is it correct to saying I absorbed the unhealthy patterns of behaviour?
Or it was modelled to you. So my children, I have, they're 4 and 6 now. So when I first started this journey, they were 1 and 3. We have a family history, like idiopathic, so unknown cause, anemia, iron deficiency. Yep. So we have to take medications. I'm trying not to. Anyway, long story short, I never wanted to take mine. So I'd be like telling my kids, take your tablets, because, you know, we tell them what to do and then we go and scarf stuff in the cupboard. And maybe that's just me. But anyway, when I started taking mine, like each day I got religious. I got up in the morning, have my apple cider vinegar, and then, you know, have my tablets. They're there going, where's ours? Because they're seeing a modelling of behaviour. That's what I do. So that they expect that too. And at the moment, we've started this adrenal cocktail thing with orange juice, cream of tartar, salt, that sort of stuff. And I don't like it. But every day my son's like, Mummy, where's our yucky juice? So it's like now he's actually helping me. But they model, they see us do it. So when we're saying don't eat that, and then we're secretly, but not so secretly, because they know, scarfing it. So that's what they learn to do. When you're upset, when you're tired, when you're frustrated, hide in the cupboard and eat biscuits.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's so true. In part of what I do outside of my business hours is I teach parenting programs, and I'm always saying more is caught than is taught. And, you know, you need to model the behaviour that you are wanting your children to model. And you're going to be a hypocrite. You know, by the time they're teenagers, if you're shouting and screaming, then they're just going to really shut off from you and not listen, because they're just going to think you're a hypocrite. So, you know, that overflows into every part of our life, doesn't it? You know, that whole, what do we want to model to our children? And
I know for a lot of us too, we can feel quite guilty when we first start our weight journey, because it does take initially a bit of time away from our children. Like I, for a long time, was a solo parent. My husband worked away, drive in, drive out. So it was just me. And I really wanted to go to the gym because I'm an obliger personality. If it's just for me, it's tomorrow. But if I'm going to meet somebody, I will not let you down. So anyway, and they cling to my leg and go, don't leave me, Mummy. And I felt about this big, you know, I didn't want to go. But it wasn't long, seriously, before, when I start to get a little bit cranky, you hear them go, you need to go to the gym, Mummy. And they actually love the creche now. But, you know, but it's that little bit of, you know, adjustment for everybody, and them getting used to, you know, Mummy doing something differently. But also now, like, they see that when I go to the gym, I tend to be in a better mood. That's endorphins, you know. So they say, oh, it's time to go to the gym, Mum, or can we go to the creche? And sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to go, but, you know, it'd be nice. And then they have that time there. So, you know, it's a learning experience for everybody. And then they learn that, you know, that's taking time. Like, I think growing up, if you watch this, Mum, I love you, but I thought, like, when you became a mum, you didn't have any friends and all you did was be a mum. And then when I became a mum, I kind of did that at first. But then, you know, like, I have activities, crafts and stuff, and sometimes we do it together and sometimes they do their version. But, you know, they learn through us taking care of ourselves how to take care of themselves as well, not just to put themselves last and you know, and not say what's really going on.
Yeah, yeah. So part of my journey was with that fear of becoming overweight, and then only learning, you know, having that model of, you know, stuffing my emotions down with food, I actually struggled with bulimia in my late teens and early 20s. And, you know, even I look over the years, I struggled with it. I got married at 27 and decided this was not going to, it kind of waned anyway, and I'd done some work around it. And I decided it was something that wasn't going to come into my marriage. But I can sort of picture there's about 5 times in that last 20 years where the perfect storm has happened, and I have found myself, you know, back there. So is that something that, you know, that you deal with clients? Because I'm sure that a lot of, you know, people think with bulimics are really skinny, but in actual fact, quite often that's not the case, is it?
No. So a lot of eating disorders are, you have the classic or the generic description, which is overly generalized. So you can have bulimics of any size. You can have like body dysmorphia, and you can have binge eating disorder, and, you know, it's really hard to, you know, put anybody into a box with a diagnosis. And I think for a lot of people with eating issues is they want to be cured or fixed. And the thing is, you're not broken. You've learned a behavior to deal with something that isn't necessarily serving you. So if you can start to see when that behavior comes back, as you're saying, the perfect storm, and I have it myself too, like I remember the very first time I said, I've lost the weight and it's gone for good, on a video, on a Facebook Live on my page. I got off that video, I went straight to the shop, bought a block of chocolate, ate the entire thing. Like, I went on a poof, like a total, like, whoa, self-sabotaging, upper limiting, like, bender, you know? And sometimes now, I still don't eat the best, or I don't exercise, or the things happen, like my old behaviour comes back up. And I would be lying if I say it didn't freak me out at all. Sometimes in the back of my mind, but mostly it's like, what am I not doing? Where am I not looking after myself? What is this behavior trying to tell me? Not like, you know, do I need to go and try the latest fad, or how fast can I get rid of this little bit of pod I've put on? You know, it's like, how do I go back to basics? You know, and I think for a lot of us looking for the answer or the cure or the silver bullet, when we say we're not looking for the silver bullet, let's face it, everyone wants one. And if there was one, we would have found it already.
We'd all be there.
But, you know, there's nothing wrong with us for wanting the easy way. Like, who wants things to be hard? But it's just like, what's really going on here? I say to my people, and I say to myself, like, what am I truly hungry for? Often it's rest, or to slow down. And the thing is, and how can I give that to myself in a little way? I was just coaching with someone this morning, and I was like, what I truly want is like a week in the Maldives with somebody doing everything for me. And it was like, I can't have that, but I can take an afternoon off and just, you know, relax and slow down. So it doesn't have to be all the things and I'm fixed and it's the answer and whatever. It's like, when things go south for me, or when things are challenging for me, this tends to be how I behave. And how can I nip that in the bud, or what is this telling me that I'm avoiding somewhere else? You know?
I love that. And I definitely have learned to speak to myself, you know, actually call myself precious and go, you know, talk to myself like I would my best friend and say, you know, what's going on here? You know, do you need a rest? Do you know what I mean? Do you know, you need to go and call someone. And I kind of tie that in also with not having unrealistic expectations of myself. I am not one of those people who can have one square of chocolate. It just doesn't happen. Like, I just want to keep going. You know, that keep eating is definitely ingrained. So I don't have the chocolate around. I don't have, you know, the Tim Tams in my house. And that doesn't mean to say that I don't, you know, sometimes overeat on the healthier things. But the damage is not so great. And, you know, so you might have, you know, be on your second handful of nuts and go, what's happening here? You know what I mean? And start to be more inquisitive and curious about your behaviour rather than condemning and, you know, putting yourself down.
I love how you say that, because for some people, that's the answer, like not having it around, and one's too many and 100's not enough. And that's why coaching in weight can be challenging, because everybody's body is different and where they are in their lives is different. See, I have chocolate everywhere around my house. Like, I never used to be able to, but the pure joy of being able to go, I feel like it, and what type do I want, you know? But when I notice that I start going downhill, I have to throw it all out. I have to throw everything out. I have to do the cupboard clean out. I have to do the lot. And people are like, well, what a waste. And I'm like, well, it's waste in the bin or it's waste on my body. But either way, it's wasted. Do you know what I mean? And then when I feel better and my feet are firm on the ground again, I'll start to build up my thing. Because I don't know, I feel better. Like, I feel better having it there. Even if I don't eat it, it's weird, but that's me. You know what I mean?
That's right. And for me, I'm more than happy to, you know, come to your place, and if you've got some yummy, you know, 70 or 85% chocolate, I'll have some. Do you know what I mean? So I'm happy to have it when I go out as a dessert or a treat. But I try not to have it in the house because I think about it all the time. It's like, for me.
Yeah, some people have that. And whereas I'm the opposite, I don't actually like to eat food when I go out. I'll eat food, you know, but I prefer to have it at home. But everybody is different, and it's a matter of finding what works for you, not what Nick tells you to do, not what Sue tells you to do. And I think a lot of us have done that. We've like followed this diet to the letter, and then we've been like, why hasn't it worked? Well, that might not be the right way of eating. So it's listening to your body and working out what works for you.
Exactly. And I talk about alcohol a lot with my clients because of the association with cancer, especially female cancers, with alcohol. And I know for me, like chocolate, it's best because, you know, one was never enough. I never know how to say that saying, but pretty much one always led to two, and further on. And so for me, it's just been incredibly freeing. I love my life without alcohol. But I know that some of my clients, you know, having a glass of wine with their partner on the weekend is, you know, what life is all about for them. So you just have to find, and it's not a problem. They just enjoy that one glass and don't even think about it anymore. So exactly understanding yourself and knowing, you know, what you're capable of, and not having unrealistic expectations of yourself. You know, well, I should be able to have chocolate around. Well, no.
For some people they can't. And the saying like that I love in my group, it's that we say all the time, is you do you. You know who? Yeah. If you like alcohol, you know, you can have that as long as you know what best serves you. I personally don't drink at all. And that's because I prefer to get my calories, not that I count calories, but my treats in with chocolate. I'm a chocoholic, if you haven't guessed. But, you know, I work with a lot of people who still drink or drink occasionally, and that's fine. It's like whatever works for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I also want to touch on habits, because I love what you say about habits. And I was... a couple of days ago, I go for a walk and I run up and down these stairs 10 times, and then I come home, and I have been resisting increasing that. And yesterday, the day before, I actually did 15, and I came away and thought, why have you been resisting? And the reason I'd been resisting is because I didn't want that to be my new baseline. I didn't think I'd be able to do that all the time. And I remembered your words and thought, actually, no, it doesn't have to be. Your baseline is 10. In fact, Nicole, your baseline is just getting to those steps. You know, when I come back, if I've been sick or I've been away and I have to start again, just getting to the steps, just doing 5 is enough. And I've always been the sort of person that anything is better than nothing. And
yes, done is better than perfect.
I know. And so everything you say resonates. I'd love you to talk on that.
So with habits, part of the problem is that we decide that we want to change when we're feeling good. Do you know what I mean? We're like, everything's going well, or we get to this point and we're ready. And we tend to set these really high bars. And that's great when we're feeling good. But as soon as things start to slide, or like at the moment, I've just put my daughter back at school. She's had pneumonia, so she's been home for 2 weeks, and it's been really, really stressful. And I did a video in my group the other day, and I'm like, today's achievement, because something I do, I don't have a to-do list, I have a done list. So I write down the things that I've done, and that makes me, I go to bed and I feel appreciation. I'm looking forward to tomorrow rather than looking at all the things I haven't done. Wow. So on the done list, I'd written, wash my hair. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd washed my hair. And on a good day, when I'm feeling good, I wouldn't even consider counting that. That just happens. You wash your hair, you put the dishes on, you cook. They're things that you just do. But when life is hard and you're struggling and everything's on top of you, the day-to-day things are actually an achievement. Yeah. So when we go to change habits, so for example, I've said already, I used to eat like 2 blocks of chocolate, 2 packs of Tim Tams, like 2 family things in a day. And, you know, that was a habit. And I'd think I have to have none. I have to have no chocolate. So I have these charts with the stickers and this system. And all I did was set myself up for boom and bust. I'd be like, okay, as soon as I had 1 square, the day was wrought, might as well eat it all because I'm not going to have any tomorrow, you know. And it literally went on like this. And I'd have stickers and then no stickers, and then I'd not track. And it was crazy. So I was like, well, if I'm eating 2 blocks of chocolate a day and I want to decrease that habit, hopefully get rid of it, what about if I had like 2 blocks minus 1 row? Like, you don't even really notice 1 row when you're eating that much. So you decrease it slowly. And yes, it's going to take time. And yes, it will, it's not instant. But the thing is, then it just becomes the habit. Like, you become a person who, and at the moment, as I said, I still have chocolate in the house. I still eat it every day. I have like a mini Mars bar or 2 squares or something like that. Maybe eventually I'll crack it, maybe not. But, you know, and it's the same with introducing something, like you were talking about the stairs. As soon as we've achieved something, like I like swimming, and the first day that I swam 40 laps, that was my baseline from then on. I had to do 40 laps. So then I just wouldn't go because I knew I was tired and I couldn't be bothered. So
Yeah.
it's like, if committing to getting your shoes on and getting to the stairs, as you said, and everything on
Mm.
top of that is a bonus. If getting to the pool and just getting in the water and floating, because I love the water,
Yep.
that is your habit, that's your minimum, then
Yep.
anything on top of it is a bonus. As soon as you achieve something, don't make that your minimum baseline forevermore, because then you're
Mm.
just setting yourself up for failure. So
Yeah.
it's the same with my business, with my posts. I post regularly to my page. I don't feel like it most of the time, but I just commit to writing something, and then once I start, it
Mm.
comes. It's the same with exercise. If you've got your sports bra and your shoes on, or if you've got your bathers on and you're already there,
Mm.
then once you go, okay, anything I do is a bonus. And then once you start, usually the endorphins start and you feel better. And then it just keeps going. So if you're like trying to reduce alcohol, coffee, chocolate, whatever it is, don't be like, I'm going to have none, because your
Mm.
nervous system and your hormones and all that sort of stuff is going to go out of whack. Just reduce it slowly.
Mm.
Because if you like, okay, I eat a block of chocolate, let's go with one now, and by the end of the year you've got it down to none, how much better is that? And it's taken, where are we now, March, 9 months. Then
Mm.
9 months of all chocolate, no chocolate, all chocolate, no chocolate, all chocolate, no chocolate, and you're still eating chocolate in December,
Yep.
or a
Yep.
block.
Yep.
So
Yep.
really
That's
allow yourself that permission to slow it down, and celebrate what you've done and the progress that you've made,
mm.
rather than this perfection crash that so many of us do.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that, not one strategy is the right way. I'm just immediately here thinking about, um, I love doing things like Feb Fast and Dry July, because it's in your mind, it's an experiment. It's only 28 days or 30 days. And it gives you, I know that people have said, wow, I actually didn't know that alcohol was keeping me, I crash, but then I wake up. I really enjoyed sleeping through. And it just gives people some concrete, physical, what's the word I'm looking for? Consequences
Evidence?
of, that's right,
Yeah.
either, the sugar or the alcohol or something like that. But then there's also, I know that Annie Grace, who does the alcohol experiment, she actually encourages you to keep on drinking while you're doing this experiment, because you're observing. You're going,
Yes.
why am I pouring that another glass of wine? Or how do I feel? And it's so, I just love all these different ways. And, no one way is perfect. Experiment yourself with doing all these different things. But the most important thing is to actually start, actually
Yes.
be proactive, because that's why we're talking about it in the first place. That's why you're listening to this in the first place, because there is something that you're thinking, no, I want to make some changes with that. So
Yeah, totally. I'm just looking for. I do have it here. So, like, I've done. I'm not a drinker, as I've said, but I've done Choctober, which is like giving up chocolate for a month.
yeah.
It was an epic disaster for me. I don't do well with as soon as I feel deprived,
Yeah.
I'm just like, how can I get it in? If I eat it in the dark, doesn't account. If I pay extra, because some of those things you can pay extra. Anyway, long story short. So the thing I do is I do this daily tracking. I got the idea from Tash Corbin, does it for money tracking, but I do it for
Yeah.
habit tracking. So this is February this is a page from my group. And then I set the goals that I'm going to do. So one of mine was maximum of 1 chocolate, because I noticed in January I started eating a bit extra chocolate. So I was like, yeah, that's got to stop, Suze. So
Yeah.
you notice there's not many red colours on here. Do you know what I mean? Now, old diet me would have been like, okay, I need keto, I need paleo, I need shakes, I need something. I've got to fix this. Like, this is not great,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
current me is kind of like, and it leads back to what you were saying, Nick. It was like, okay, so what's the consequences of eating this extra chocolate and
Mm.
not sleeping as well? Like, as in, I still go to
Mm.
bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, but the quality of the sleep, when I have a lot of sugar,
Yeah.
I notice
Agree.
I don't feel as rested,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when it starts, so it's like, I'm going to say there's none, and then I have one, and then I'm, just or whatever. So it's like observing, as you said, and I do better observing. So, and also too, I noticed that when I do my apple cider vinegar, which is the green one, everything else kind of follows it. So what
Wow.
I do is every month I track a maximum of 4 things. And then the following month I'll have a look and go, okay, which ones are going well? Which ones, and then I'll rejig them. So when I reviewed February, because we're recording this in early March, I noticed that none of my goals had anything to do with movement. And I personally, when I exercise, I tend to make better food choices. I tend to sleep better because that's what works for me. So in March, I now have a movement focus, and it'll be interesting to see how the others come in line with that. So it's something going forward. And then when I've nailed it, and I think I don't need it anymore, it's not to, and the idea is not that you stack on and on and on, you're tracking all these things and then it's not useful. But it's like, oh, perhaps, and I think February, looking back, if I go through is the first time I haven't tracked a movement thing. So it's interesting what works for you and listening to your body. And as I said, the sugar makes me not feel as rested. And that is, so in the afternoon where it's 3 p.m. and I'm feeling a bit of a slump and I've got the chocolate there, do you want to sleep well tonight? So that's easier than, no, you can't have it.
And that's certainly me with chocolate, because if I am going to eat chocolate, I only eat it after lunch. I'm a sweet, I like my little bit of sweet after lunch or after lunch or dinner, but I never have it after dinner because it does affect my sleep. I'm so sensitive, to the caffeine.
Yeah, same here. And same as if I go out for a meal or something, I prefer to go out for lunch so I can have that bigger meal. For me, it sits better in my belly, whereas if I eat a lot in the evening, I really don't sleep very well.
Yeah, that's right. And I think too, just, I'm touching on something you said, because of being a dietitian, because I help women who've had, faced their mortality and wanting to get healthy again, I'm a big proponent of, if that chocolate fix really is, you feel like you can't live without that, then I would encourage you to experiment with some healthy alternatives like my black bean brownies. And that way, I know for me, having those black bean brownies just does it. They're so delicious, but they're also highly nutritious as well.
Yes.
So, I've always been a don't deprive yourself kind of a person. Okay, so you might be, wanting to release weight, but let's do it in a way that so you don't feel deprived and you don't, get hungry. I'd much rather you grab an extra handful of nuts than go and have, 5 Tim Tams if that's the direction that you're wanting to head, So,
yes.
Oh, look, I know we could keep going on and on and on. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for coming on and sharing all of your incredible wisdom with us. Can you please tell people where they can find you?
Where they can find me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sorry, I dropped out for a second. So my website is www.suzanneculberg.com. I'm sure Nick will put it in the notes because my surname gets lots of interesting variations. So does Suzanne, actually. And the same as my Facebook's facebook.com/Suzanne Culberg. And I send a newsletter out. Love you to sign up. Comes out once a week, has some unique content. And I've had people, I really love my newsletter. I've done that since I started my business, so 2.5 years. I've had emails from people who've dropped 20 and 30 kilos, have just followed the tips I give on my newsletter. So it makes me so happy. I've never worked with them, but they are religious about following the advice and giving it a go. And always send me a message and give me an update with how you're going. I'd love to hear about it.
Awesome. So exciting. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And thank you everyone for watching. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Nick.